So Donald Trump is now talking about putting U.S. soldiers' boots on the ground in Iran. This is the headline from NBC. They say, Trump has privately shown serious interest in U.S. ground troops in Iran. Now, this isn't necessarily a surprise, as that has been the talk all week on you probably need boots in the ground if you want to do regime change and nation building, right? That's essentially what the Trump people want to do and take the oil fields, basically. There's been talk, too, that Trump has been personally calling up the Kurds saying, hey, will you go invade Iran for me? That hasn't been going as planned, evidently. We'll, see they'll not necessarily going to give you the full information on that. Just we're getting leaks on those phone calls. And now we're getting basically leaks on Trump's talking about U.S. troops on the ground, right? It says here, the president's private comments have not focused on a large-scale ground invasion of Iran, but rather on the idea of a small contingent of U.S. troops that would be used for specific strategic purposes. And if you guys know history, we'll just say talk about something like Vietnam, where you first send advisors, that kind of thing, and then slowly you get sucked into this, and then you're in a forever war, that kind of thing. Or you go on some sort of special mission, you're supposed to take out a particular target, a U.S. soldier or more get hurt. We all hear about it, right? It's not covert anymore. And then you're sucked in there for a long time. I mean, this is just, the whole thing is awful. There was also a report from the Washington Post recently that says cancellation of Army exercise fuels speculation about Mideast troop deployment. And this was the 82nd Airborne Division. So basically they had some sort of like drill they're supposed to go do. They end up canceling that. And so now I think they're on standby. And the question is, are they going to be ordered to go, say, to Iran? Now, that's speculation, of course, but it's not that hard to put two and two together and kind of figure out where things are going on. And I want to show you this. This is a comment from our community, and we have a great community that really illustrate, what's happening. The comment from Nerf Herder says, tax cuts for the rich, healthcare cuts for the middle class, and a draft for the poor. And doesn't that just sum up where we're at, right? Tax cuts for the rich, healthcare cuts for the middle class, and a draft for the poor. And I was also thinking about this too, and I want to show you guys this. I was at dinner today. If you guys don't know, I live in Busan, Korea. And across the way for sitting in front of me were two gentlemen, right? Two guys, older fellows, right? Korean. And on the TV was basically Trump and what he's doing in Iran. And even the restaurant owner who, I see quite frequently, I wouldn't put her as someone who's like, say, a news junkie or something like that. But she was even watching intently. And the thing that really saddened me, I'm just being frank with you guys, is the two Korean guys were just basically talking about how much Trump is an idiot, basically. And then the next thing they were talking about is how the U.S. bombed a school. So this is here in Korea where people can easily figure out what's going on. Trump's an idiot, you're destabilizing the world, and you're bombing schools. That's how regular people in Korea see it. And even, like I said, the person who, owns a restaurant, it's just not the kind of person I would think would follow the news closely. Even she was watching this stuff because basically this is what you're seeing unfolding on the screen. And ask any normal person around the world about this kind of stuff. It's obvious. And it's really only the sick MAGA people who can't see it. And that's why I want to read some comments from our community. Here's another one. WB says, having an unlimited supply of weapons means you have an infinite number of them, okay? Having an infinite number of weapons is good, but having 4 times the infinite number of weapons is even better. It's just basic mathematics. And WB is making a joke, of course, because basically Trump's trying to say that we have unlimited weapons, yet we're quadrupling production, and that was in a tweet before, and he had a meeting with defense contractors. Here's another comment from our community, Qatar. Qatar says, a report comes out, announces our stockpiles are depleted. Then Adolf Trump's goes on a media campaign saying the opposite. I assume to discredit the report to appear whole. He's afraid that announcement makes the U.S. look weak, so he blasts the media with misinformation. His conflicting statements followed by an announcement of mass production just illustrates panic rather than strength or readiness. Adolf is a fool, and the entire world knows it. And it's important to share comments, and it's also important to you guys that, I read through the comments all the time, and I encourage you guys to read them also in our community, just to know that you're not alone and know you're not crazy. Because, as I was saying, the gentleman I was watching in the restaurant today, they're commenting on how dumb Trump is and stuff like that. It's it's the whole state obviously is sad, everything that's going on, but it's just like, if people can see it, why don't we just stop this dude? That's basically I guess what I'm saying. It's so ridiculous, and a lot of these Republicans and people who are kneeling to Trump, they're going to go down in history as just completely being awful. It doesn't mean that you have to do this forever. Like, it's the first week we could get out of this situation. And I don't want to ever give the sense that it's hopeless. It's not, because like I said, multiple people can see what's going on. The poll numbers are against him. I saw something recently. I guess he's the first president in history that would take the country to war with like these awful poll numbers and support. Because normally, and guys, like, you can disagree with, several conflicts or wars that the U.S. has been in, but normally, like a normal procedure, you at least try to convince the American public, or at least try to go through Congress. Like you don't just suddenly start a war. It's like you wake up one day and now we're like in a forever war within a week. It's the whole thing's crazy. I mean, we've never seen anything like this before in this way. And it's just, and I guess I'm thinking the same thing you're at. It's like, shouldn't Congress just step up, right? And that's where it's frustrating, because they did have a vote. So I don't want to think they're not doing anything. It's just that the Republicans hold the House and the Senate at the moment. So this is where we're at. Midterms are coming, but I know it's not soon enough. And it's just like the whole thing just feels completely lawless. I'm just telling you guys like how I feel, and I'm sure you feel this stuff too. As we go through news every day, it's just like, I don't know. It's a combination of really angry, sadness, like you cry. It's like you angry cry. Some of the stuff is absolutely absurd. For example, the White House is transforming Iran strikes into a meme war. And, you can go through all the stupid crap that they're posting. Today it was like they're combining football clips of scoring touchdowns with like war footage, like basically blowing up stuff, or baseball home runs with war footage. It's just stupid crap like that. Before, I think they were using SpongeBob with this kind of stuff, like kids stuff with this. It's the whole thing's sick. And that's why I go through, comments of you guys, because to see other people can see it also. This is coming from Nixon. Nixon says, this run up to the increase in cost of normal summer blend, talking about oil here, of gasoline price hike, $5 a gallon will be upon us in 3 months. I think that's very possible. Everything I keep seeing is people are saying $100 a barrel is imminent. Recently from, I think it was Qatar, the energy minister was saying that you're looking at $150 a barrel and the global economy will shut down. That was like his word. We talked about this before in a prior video. We can all see it coming, right? Here's another one from Jay Surname says, their argument is basically, quote, it will be safe if you just lie and pretend it is safe. It's faulty logic, and these people are brainless. And that was referring to Fox News, who's basically saying, just keep shipping the oil regardless of the danger. Everything's going to be fine because Trump's going to protect you. And it's just like stupid crap, right? So, and I thought that's a good way to sum it up, right? It'll be safe if you just lie and pretend it's safe. Here's another one. Talking about oil again. Not just energy. Crude oil is used for gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, heating oils, asphalt, lubricants, petrochemicals used in manufacturing plastics, synthetic rubber, fertilizers, pharmaceuticals, and countless other materials essential to modern life. Yeah, we're screwed. Basically, if the price of oil goes up, think of all these like associated costs that go up with it, right? There's all, and that's just the fuel, just say to make stuff otherwise, but like just say transporting food around, right? We need food and stuff like that. And this is why you want to develop alternate uses, alternate ways to produce energy, which is anything crazy. Trump is like so against solar and wind and stuff like that. It's sick. The whole thing is sick, of course. And it's also too why you want to build up your universities so you can have the research in place. It can create jobs and have innovations to solve our current problems. I will say one thing though, when I read through all of the comments, and also again, I just want to mention when I saw the older gentleman in front of me, talking about how much Trump is an idiot, at dinner, it just reminds me there are a lot enough people. There are a lot of people out there that just talk normal, talk like normal people, which I think is important in this day and age. If you flip around to what you see on TV, it's all scripted drama. People are just fighting. They basically, if you don't know, the people who go on TV, they'll have agents. They treat them like actors basically. And the agents, get them on CNN or whatever. and then they're supposed to represent a certain, group, and they get another agent, and gets that basically actor, and they match another group, and they just fight. It's just entertainment. Most American news is entertainment. And then much of what you see on YouTube is basically angertainment. People just get up and just yell and scream and be angry, and you all be angry together, and as if that solves anything. So I just try to talk like a normal person, and I just wanted to express that with you. It's important to get us back to reality because Trump keeps, pushing us way out of it. You probably heard about this. I'll just show you guys. This is just a few hours ago. They were tweeting out images of, I think we committed troops to Ecuador, which we haven't talked a lot about. I did see that, but I guess, they're sharing footage of it, etc. And we're just so far overextended, and that's why when Trump's saying, "Oh, guys, we got unlimited munitions," of course that's a lie, So if we did, why are we quadrupling unlimited munitions? And that's when I read through her comments, it's important to see other people can see it too, not just me, not just you, but a lot of people can see what's going on. Now, there may be some sort of hopefully drawdown. We'll see. Like, for example, this is in Washington Post. It says, Trump team bashed Europe for a year. Now he wants support in war in Iran. It's like, what if he doesn't get the support? What if the Kurds don't want to work with Trump? What if people in Europe don't want to work with Trump? Like, what if people in the USA don't want to work with Trump? Like, you can't have this war if people aren't going to participate. So this is what we're going to see what's going to happen. And I thought this was interesting also, where we may have some calming, hopefully, coming from Iran just a few minutes ago. Middle East war live. Iran calls halt to attacks on neighbors as Israel strikes more targets. So hopefully this doesn't spread. It has been a regional war. The problem is, though, Israel just keeps going on the offensive. And that's just, the whole thing's ugly. I'll just be frank with you guys. So there's that. And then this was, just a few minutes ago also, multiple explosions heard in Tehran. And here's the thing. It's like, you spend all this money, you're going to destroy all these buildings, infrastructure, you're going to kill people. And then Trump's talking about, okay, you have to have a leader that's acceptable to him. And there's been reports on that he wants to do that. And someone made a comment in the community of like, there's nothing like democracy, one that you install. The whole thing is sick. And I just can't stress this enough. Today I'm a bit irritated, but I do want to tell you what's happening, right? So, we'll see. And then there's this, which I think goes back to the first comment. Remember, it was the rich get the tax cuts, the middle class get your healthcare cut, and the poor get the draft. This was in the CNBC today. It says E-shaped economy, right? E-shaped economy is replacing a K-shaped one in 2026, economist says. The middle class is spending in a nervous way now. And K-shaped economy, the idea would be the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. E-shaped, this is the first time I heard this one recently. And the basic idea would be you have three tiers. The first tier, the wealthy, they're doing fine. They're driving much of the consumption in the economy because the U.S. is a consumer-based economy. The E tier was interesting that you would say they're treading water, or it's like a Costco economy where they go to Costco because they're so focused on saving money, and that's the best way to do it is you buy in bulk at a discount stores, like that kind of thing. But any sort of change in price, right, that'll ruin that. And then you have the third tier, which is basically debt. A lot of people are buried in credit card debt at the bottom. And if you know how that works in the USA, the interest rates are just, in my opinion, criminally high, like ridiculously high. You're looking at, over 20% kind of thing. And if you carry debt year to year to year to year at 20%, like you can never recover. And so this is sort of where we're at. So I think this is all apt. And that's why I mentioned that first comment today, which just really captures where we're at. Tax cuts for the rich, healthcare cuts for the middle class, and a draft for the poor. So I just hope more people wake up, and I hope we can have real conversations about any of these problems that we face in the world, but talk like normal people. And I do think it's important, though, again, to know that you're not alone and to see different thoughts that are shared in our community. So that's my thoughts on this. I appreciate your time, and I'll catch you all in the next video.